3, 2, 1, end of test. Keying with a go.
Well, hello there, and welcome to another edition of Warbird Wednesday. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum, and today we're continuing to go down dive bomber lane with the Curtiss, the SB2C Helldiver. Probably an airplane. This is one of those, you want to talk about weapon systems that got completely out of control. They weren't called weapon systems back then, but this is one of these, my magnanimous assistant weapon systems that probably should have died. We're going to talk about it, but it did make it and see the light of day. And before I do that, I think Jason has turned me into one of the most devastating creatures ever made. I think it's a penguin.
It looks like some sort of giant laser sent to kill us all, sir.
Penguins are probably, their nature's little hitmen. People don't know that, but the little tuxedo belies their innocuous purpose. Now, the Helldiver, also known as the A-25 with the U.S. Army, and then those were later transferred to the Marines, replaced the SBD Dauntless, which was a really outstanding aircraft. There were 7,140 built. Its first flight was in 1940. It was introduced in 1942, and it was retired in 1959 by a favorite country of mine, Italy. The aircraft, I'm going to go ahead, grab it. Now, this is a fine Curtiss product, a P-40 or a Warhawk. Go ahead and throw up a plan view. Greg can throw up a plan view of the Helldiver at home. The problem was that they kept pushing this aircraft through development. I mean, it had all kinds of problems. To give you an idea of how difficult the Helldiver's development and teething was, the Avenger, the TBF Avenger, went into development 2 years later and still beat it to deployment. So that is to give you an idea of how many teething problems and design issues they had with this airplane. It was underpowered, had a dodgy electrical system, didn't have great control services. The professor, they put at MIT, they put one in the MIT wind tunnel, and Professor Otto C. Kopens said that building this type of aircraft was nuts. That's how bad. Now, it did have the smaller tail, which they rectified, which we'll talk about that. But it was a dodgy airplane. And so, but we've talked about this before, and the other allies have done it as well. They needed weapons, and at this point, we're headed into war. When the airplane was kind of coming out of development, they knew the Dauntless was long in the tooth, and so they needed a replacement, and this airplane fit the bill to the tune of about 7,000. It wasn't a small build, but how bad was it? It was so bad that the Truman Commission actually investigated this aircraft, and ultimately there are some people that feel that it contributed to the decline of Curtiss aircraft. That's how big a drag it had on the company. It was a Swiss Army knife aircraft, and what I mean by that is it was a multi-role attack aircraft, and part of the problem with that is when you do multi-role aircraft, and we've seen this time and time again, they do a lot of things and they don't do a lot of things well. When air crews got a hold of it, one of the nicknames that they had for it was the, how do I say this on YouTube? The son of a second class. They did not like this airplane. As I said, it had structural weakness, it had bad stall characteristics, poor handling, on and on. It was underpowered. But they kept going forward with the airplane. Now, it saw combat throughout the Pacific during the war as they pulled the Dauntless back but the type never achieved the success that some of the other dive bomber aircraft. And by that point, anyways, we were kind of phasing out dive bombers in front of technology that I will talk in a second. But first, I'm going to go ahead and put this guy back on his stand. I love the P-40. What a great airplane. And today, we're going to salute the Helldiver pilots. You were saddled with a really weak design, but they continued to fight throughout the war, and they did so with a lot of bravery because, again, although there was a high build rate of this airplane, Japanese were still a tough foe, and you flew into combat with really an inferior aircraft. And, you know, if you want to argue with me in the comments, you can, but the airplane was never quite up to speed. So with that, I'm going to salute the Helldiver pilots with Mr. Cucumber. Where the heck did you get this? A sparkling cucumber beverage, 90 calories, low calories. I don't see a California Redemption certificate here, which means this thing could be rather dangerous, but we'll go ahead and pop it open. And with that, we will salute all of you Helldiver pilots with Mr. Cucumber.
Hello, I am Mr. Cucumber.
That kind of tastes, in a bad finish. That kind of tastes like a cucumber that's been dragged behind a car, Jason. It has no flavor, or it has a really bad finish. One more sip, which is the promise. Now, how they solved some of the problems with the aircraft is they went ahead and added the R2600, which solved some of the power problems, but they never really quite sorted out the electrical and some of the handling problems. The aircraft did get better when it was not used in a dive bombing role, and they actually switched over to rockets, and it became a pretty good rocket platform in the Pacific. And then the war was over, and this thing kind of trundled on out into the scrap heap of history. The interesting thing about it was the French picked them up. They flew in Indochina, and they actually flew air support at Dien Bien Phu, if you can believe that. In 1951-54 timeframe, they were flying air support for the French, and that was pretty much the end of their combat role. Ultimately, as I said, this aircraft probably led to the demise or the decline of the Curtiss Aircraft Company, and that's too bad. But it just shows one product can really be to the detriment of everything else when you get something that you just stick behind, and the airplane probably, again, as I said, it should have never seen the light of day, but we were in a fight, and they just needed to get the types out to the front. Now, if you want to learn about all the World War II aircraft, get this puzzle. This thing is incredibly cool. It's got the German and the Japanese types. It's got a lot of American aircraft on it. This thing is very, very cool. Go ahead and click on the link, and Jason will happily run down to the mailbox and drop one in the mailbox for you. This is actually really neat. Kids can do this, and if you want to frame it, it is suitable for framing. We cannot do all of this without your shekels. So down below, you'll see a link to make a donation. We can certainly use a couple of bucks. If you want to donate a few dollars, we could certainly use that. If you are teaching the kiddos at home, please click on that education links. They are free, and you can teach an entire course, an entire section, or you can teach one lesson. They are wonderful teaching tools if you're teaching the kids at home. If you came across us on YouTube, please give us a subscription and some comments. We love that. If you have ideas about things you want us to cover, the same thing with Facebook. Give us a like and a comment. We can always use those. And we are also on Instagram, so you can give us a heart and a comment there. My name is Fred Bell. I am the Vice Chairman of the Palm Springs Air Museum. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
3, 2, 1, end of test. King with a go.
Rise to the blessed day. All my fears have gone away. I guess this means I'm here to stay. Yeah, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly. Wasn't long ago I shook at the thought of being hooked. But ever since I wrote my book, I'm ready to fly, ready to fly.
Come along and join us, we can plug you in a simulator. We'll teach you how to dance and be the perfect imitator. We'll give away all your music to the operator. We were born with a light to shine, and we can do it in our lifetime. And when we get the balance right, oh, we're riding on the satellite.
Satellite.
Very here, Alpha.
I was watching down